So I thought, it's time to make another video. It's been a year and a half, 2 years, I think, since I made a video, and so much information, knowledge, so much. I've absorbed so much stuff that I've written a lot, and I thought, well, until I find a place to get what I've written published, I can put some videos out like I was before, Sinner and Friends, which I'm just going to publish this under Sinner and Friends. And I've been asking around a couple, I asked Christian and asked, I think Miranda, I asked Miranda, and asked my mom, said something about making another video, and everybody thought it was a good idea. So here I am going to make another video under Sinner and Friends, which I've been having a hard time since I decided I was going to make a video. Where to start? What do I say? Just to begin, I don't even know. So I don't know where to begin, so I'm not really sure where to end either. I thought, well, I'll make an outline, you know, figure out what the first part of the video is going to say and where I want to stop it, and there's no sense. Why? Just something else to do before we actually get started, which won't even actually get started if I don't just do it. So I was like, well, I'll just turn my camera on and see, you know, see how this camera works on this computer, because this isn't the computer I used before. And well, it works, and I have nothing written or no outline or anything to go by, so oh well, here it is. Here's the first video since I think 2 years. It's been 2 years. So in that time, let's see, it was pretty quickly after, well, let's see, that was 2 summers ago, I think, so probably about 6 months after I made my last video, maybe around then, I just received so much knowledge from God that I mean, I want to share it with everybody, but it's hard to put into words, and it's hard for me to say right now too. So I kind of like just share bits and pieces with my family and my kids, you know, whenever something comes up, you know, I'll try to say something that, you know, pertains to whatever, you know, issue that's going on at the time, or I'll look up in the Bible to see, you know, how this pertains to some kind of situation. But anyway, I'll just start where I started. So Eugene was up. I was home visiting. It was right around. No, it was in the summer. So it was July. It was in July, and I'm not sure. Maybe it was 2017. It doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to think of it. But so Eugene was visiting, and he. Well, of course, he's visiting all of his friends and stuff, and it was hard to find him, you know, find a minute to spend some time with him, and without him having to jump up and go do something. But figured out a time that he was going to be at my mom's house. That's where he stays, is at my mom's, and he didn't have anything else to do that day, so I went over there and thought, you know, figured we had some time together, because he didn't have anybody to visit that day. So. Coffee, yum. So he was sitting there, and we were watching a YouTube video, and it was one of the guys that he likes to watch playing games, and I think was it Rust? Or maybe, I'm not sure if it was Rust or CSGO. Anyway, so this is a couple years now. Eugene is streaming videos. I just found out today. I love watching. Christian does too. His gamer tag, I think, is Legend Gamer. All one word. And then Eugene's on, I think Eugene's on Twitch, and is Joker. Anyway, he is a Joker. He's the best Joker. So we were watching one of the guys that he likes to watch on YouTube, and he had his phone, he's holding it up for, he had his phone, you know, he's holding his phone up, and we were watching it, and he was just holding it for me and both, so I would hold my hand up there and help him hold it for a minute so we can take a break. Just on his little teeny phone. And he's kind of like leaning on me, so he's like right here leaning, and we're watching, and I was just so thankful for those, you know, just those couple of minutes to have with him, and we were laughing at the video together. I don't know, it was, I don't know, CSGO or I don't know, Rust, some game somebody was playing it. We're watching somebody else playing it, and you know, whoever it was funny, and we were giggling, and I just felt so blessed to have these moments with my son, and he was, you know, kind of leaning on me, and he didn't know, but I just kind of looked down at him, and I was just overwhelmed with feeling so much love for him, and I was like, gosh, you know, I had tears coming back running down my eyes, but he didn't know, and I wasn't gonna let him know either. His mom is crying watching YouTube. Jeez, so sad and pitiful. But anyway, so I was just thinking, I love him so much that I would do anything for him. I would, you know, it's easy for a mom to just think, you know, I would just give my life for him. It would be so easy because I just love him so much, and I was thinking all this love I have for my child, for all my children, and it's like he doesn't even know. Like, he knows that I love him. He knows that his mom loves him. He knows his family loves him. He knows that, but doesn't know the magnitude of this love that we have for our children. And it made me think of how much love that God has for me. And I was like, gosh, you know, I have all this love for Eugene and my children, but God is so much greater and bigger and wonderful, and all that love that he has for me must be just so overwhelming. And I just felt so overwhelmed because I was like, he loves me that much. I mean, all this love I have for Eugene, but look at this love. It must be, you know, 10, 100 times more that God has for me. And I'm like thinking, well, God, I'm kind of like Eugene in a way where, you know, Eugene knows I love him. I know God loves me, but Eugene doesn't know how the magnitude that I have this love is just so overwhelming and so much. And like, we don't know how much God loves us. I mean, we know he loves us, but it's never going to be a full understanding because, I mean, we're humans, and we won't ever understand how much he loves us until we actually get into heaven and are, you know, with him in heaven. And it was just, you know, all this was coming down to me while I'm watching a video with my son. He's holding this thing up, and I'm like, tears are coming down, my face coming down. Oh my gosh, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna know that I'm crying. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. Let me up. So I went to the kitchen, and I just stood by the sink, and I was just, you know, tears pouring down my face, and love for Eugene, God's love for me. And it's just, wow, you know, whew, it's so much. And that was the beginning of this journey that I've been on. I'm still on, of course. I mean, we're all on a journey. We're all humans. We're all living this life that God has prepared for us, and just hoping that we can choose the things that God wants us to choose, and live out his will. Because there's so much in our life that happens that, even though it's hard and sometimes really scary and sometimes really dangerous, but everything, every little teeny step and every big step that we make, it's all a part of God's design. It's all part of his plan. And that's Luna. She's drinking her water. She oh, I've learned so much from having a dog too. Oh my gosh, I've learned so much from just opening my eyes, really, and seeing the world in different perspective, in my perspective, and then in trying to put myself into other shoes too, and trying to look at the world through other people's eyes, and trying to see the world through God's eyes, and why and when and what and how and things happen on this earth, all for a purpose, all for his, it's all part of his design. And gosh, I went that day, we were sitting on the couch watching a YouTube video together, and I told Eugene, I went back in, I sat down and got my face cleaned up. I don't want anybody to know that I was crying, because they'll think, oh, geez, mother. I know, I'm sorry. I can't help it. He'll understand now. His son is 1 year old, and his wife has got another one on the way, so he's gonna feel the power of love. I mean, I'm sure he does right now. If you think about it, if you think about your children, I mean, you would do anything for them. And I'm not saying even people that don't have children. I'll bet you most people in this world that don't have children have a pet. And, cats, dogs, whatever. Your pets teach you so much. Like, I love my dog Luna so much. And we learn, like, as humans, we have this love inside of us that we want to give to something else. And that's a gift from God. So even if you don't have a partner at the moment, and you have a pet, I mean, the way that your pet looks at you and adores you, and you look at your pet and you adore your pet, and you just, you love each other, and the innocence of a pet looking up at you, trusting you to take care of it, there's so many lessons to learn there. And they're all lessons and blessings from God. And I'm so thankful that He's given me these lessons that finally I pay attention to. And maybe these things that are happening in my life, just everything just seems to be falling into place. And even though I've had some really bad times, those bad times have taught me so much. And now I can't say I look forward to bad times, but at least I know that when I have a bad days or things going on, I know there's something there that I needed to learn. So this last time I was really sick, and I was allergic to the medicine. Well, we thought, and allergic to something else. I don't know. Who knows? I'm still getting hives this is from a couple months ago, and a month and a half ago, really. And, I'm still finding lessons in that. I'm still finding things that I needed to learn. There's so much that we need to learn. And that all brings me back to, I guess, the beginning, because it's all started a couple years ago when I was loving my son and knowing that he knew I loved him, but he didn't know the magnitude, how much I loved him. And I don't really know if he ever needs to understand that, because the love is always going to be there. It's always going to exist. It's always going to be a connection that I have to him. And I know that he loves me too. But it brought on this, it started this, what do I call it? Domino effect, maybe, kind of, because one thing just kind of leads to the next. So it was a start, and it made me think of the beginning of when God created Adam and Eve. And in Genesis, I should have brought my Bible out. Where's that? Well, I can get it if I need it, but Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Actually, the first part of it says, in the beginning, God was hovering over the darkness, or over a void, and that's where He created the earth and the planets and all the galaxies and anyway, so God was there, and He made this planet Earth so specific to the human race. I mean, everything that's in the universe was placed exactly where it is to make our planet Earth, where we live, where the human race lives, where the people that He's created, that He loves so much, an unbelievable amount, that He's placed these planets and the solar system and the sun and the moon and the, you know, planets that aren't planets anymore, Pluto. I don't know. But everything is so specific to Earth, to his creation, to these souls that he made. When Adam and Eve were first created, I believe that they were first these souls. And we were created out of this love God has for us. And God was looking at Adam and Eve, and he was thinking, he loves you so much. God loves us so much. And Adam and Eve, these souls of wonderful, you know, of love from God, they were playing around, watching their YouTubes, you know, loving God, but not understanding, not knowing that power of how much love God has for them. And the only way to teach somebody how much something is for them to understand the other side. So when Eve and God had this all planned out, of course, and, you know, human beings being curious and dumb. Yes, sorry, but we're all pretty dumb. But dumb can be good, because dumb can lead you to knowledge. You know, you don't know about something, you're dumb, then hopefully you want to learn about it, so you seek out the knowledge. Anyway, so it made me read Genesis over again. I've read it so many times since a couple years ago. Gosh, I can't even tell you how many times I've read it. And it seems like every time I read Genesis 1, I find something else that I didn't see before. It's amazing how you can read the same words over and over again. And like a month or two later, you read them again and you found something else. It's crazy. So God had this design to teach us the power of love and the power of all the happiness, all the good things that come from love, happiness and contentment and peacefulness and adoration and admiration and just all these good things that come from love. And when Eve took the bite of that wisdom, when she consumed, we'll say when she consumed the wisdom, she was deceived into taking the bite, into consuming it. But it was all part of God's plan, of course. Because as soon as she took that bite, she got this feeling that she never had before. That knowledge she consumed was the opposite of love. I don't want to say it was hate. I don't want to say it was evil. I'm not sure. It's somewhere on that side, but I'm, you know, still trying to figure that out, because the first thing that she felt that we see from the Bible, we don't know exactly everything, of course, but what the Bible shows us, that the first feeling she felt was shame, because she just realized what she did. She did something wrong. And that was the first time that she did something wrong. She had done something wrong. I'm an English person, whatever. Don't correct my grammar. Anyway, so she realized that she had done something wrong, and that was the first time she had ever felt this feeling ever. And she was so ashamed that she did this act that was a sin. It was evil in a way. I mean, evil can be, you know, a mild evil, and then there's a bad evil, but I mean, still, it's a sin. And she didn't know it was a sin. She never had sinned before, because once she consumed that, it was a knowledge that was the opposite of love. So God had planned this. He had this all a part of his design, because how was he to teach us how much he loved us unless we had that knowledge of the opposite of love? And just as an example, you know, if pretend that you're somebody who has always had food, has never been without food, has never felt hungry before, has never is never worried about, you know, not having a meal. You know, always has food, no matter what. If there's nothing in the house, you can call, you got money, you can order pizza. Okay, so you've never felt the pangs of hunger. How would you know what hunger was? Like, how could you even fathom being hungry if it's never been an issue in your life ever? Or even like say I mean, here's another decent example, good example. If you've never had a pet before, even like say you've never had, I'm gonna say a dog because that's what I have as a dog, but not saying that people that have cats would be different. I'm just saying to use a dog for example because I have a dog. But like, I love dogs. You know, I love all animals basically. I mean, even worms, I guess, even bugs. You know, I don't want to kill them. You know, even if it's icky. But anyway, say you never had a pet. Okay, and your friend has a pet, and your friend just loves their pet dog so much, and wants to take their pet dog with them everywhere, and just whenever you go to her house, or his house, he's always spending time with his dog, and you know, that shows you the tricks that he taught his dog, and just thinks his dog is the world. And the dog, you see the dog looking at your friend, the owner, and the dog is just does everything the owner says, and it's just so good, and just loves to make the owner happy. And you see this bond between this person and a pet, but you don't really understand it. But you can see that there is something there. But looking at it from the outside, not having a pet before, then you wouldn't understand that bond as much as if you had a pet yourself. So then say, you know, a month or two down the road, somebody's selling a puppy or whatever, and you're like, well, you know, my friend has a puppy or a dog, and he like loves that thing. You know, I'm gonna give it a try. And if your heart's in the right place and you're ready for a pet, I'm not saying everybody's ready for a pet as soon as they get one, because sometimes it doesn't work out, and you gotta find another home for it. But anyway, let's say everything was all set up, you're perfect, you know, you got this puppy, and you just start spending time with this puppy, and this puppy's just looking at you with the innocence of, you know, not knowing really right from wrong. When you don't know right from wrong, you're kind of innocent if you don't know what's right from wrong. And usually, well, I'm not saying dogs don't know right from wrong, but not as well as humans do, I guess, suppose. Somebody probably be mad that I said that, but I love dogs very much, and I really believe that my dog loves me. I know she loves me because of the way that she acts around me. She listens to me. She looks at me with just eyes that say, what are we gonna do now? You want me to do something for you? You want me to cuddle with you? You want to cuddle together? Anyway, I'm losing track of my story here. So let's say you get a dog, and then you start spending time with this puppy, and this puppy just starts, you know, loving on you. You wake up in the morning, here's this puppy ready to just do anything you want to do, and you form this connection, you form this bond over, you know, time goes by, you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and you finally sit back one day and you're like, whoa, I love this dog. I love this living being with me. I get it. I see why my friend was so wanting to be with their dog all the time, and you know, show me things that they were proud of, and that they taught their dog, and they see this bond, but that they never understood before until they themselves got a puppy and a dog, and formed the bond themselves. So to all roll back to back to Adam and Eve, it's just, if you have so much of one thing, you don't realize that you have it until you don't have it. It's like almost like having electricity or having internet. Oh, that's the perfect way. If you have the Wi-Fi all the time, always have the internet on your phone, and then something happens, you couldn't pay the bill that month, your mom said you can't have Wi-Fi, or just electricity goes out, okay, and then you don't have it, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. I don't have Wi-Fi. I can't get on my phone. I can't get on the computer. Like, your whole world's turned upside down because you don't have it. You're always with it. So you didn't realize how special it was. Like, God was always with Adam and Eve, loving them. And Adam and Eve were always with God, loving him. They were loving, loving, loving. There was no without love. So how would Adam and Eve understand that power of love? How do people understand the power of Wi-Fi? I know it's kind of strange comparing it to that, but it makes sense because you don't understand how much one thing means until you have to go without it. It's almost like, you know, having a boyfriend and loving him so much and you guys break up, something happens, you break up, and it's like every minute you wake up, you're looking at your phone, texting him, he texts you, you know, and then you break up and you're like, you wake up and you realize, my world has changed. I don't have that thing that I always had before. And you learn, even though it might be hard, you learn what it's like to be without something. And I'm not saying that we couldn't ever be, we can't live without love. Love is what our souls are made of. And when Adam and Eve consumed that knowledge from that fruit of wisdom, she gained the other side of love, and Adam gained the other side of love. And as soon as they received that into their soul, it changed them. And the first thing they felt was ashamed, and shame comes from the other side of love. And so they had to, it was a blessing, really. I mean, in order for them to understand how much God loves him, how much he has done for us, this world, this universe, this solar system, the plants, the oxygen, the beautiful nature, and the people that we're with, our family, our relatives, and everything is just placed so. Everything is just perfectly designed the way that it is and the way that it needs to be at the perfect times in our lives for us to learn about God, to learn about the love that he has for us. Without facing the other side of things, we don't understand the power of the love that God has for us. And so God blessed Adam and Eve. Even though it was wrong of Eve to do that, God had it planned. That's what we had to do. That's what had to happen in order for us to begin to understand the power of love. Just to begin, because we have so much to learn in the Bible, and God giving his only son, Jesus, just to prove that love, that power of love, and the perfect sacrifice that Jesus did for God's love for us. To prove that, to have the evidence, because as human beings, we're always asking for evidence. It's funny how a lot of things depend on, what you see. We put so much weight on proof that we can see or hold or feel, when really the proof is how you feel inside. How you feel is the best evidence that you could ever have for anything. What you see could never be as powerful as what you feel. And there's so many times, so many ways and if you think about your life, I think about my life, that I've been deceived by things that I've seen with my eyes. So much so that I truly and try to just trust and have faith that the way that I feel inside is what God has given me, what he wants me to do, to try to point me in the right direction, and try to learn as much as I can that he wants me to know, so that I can, absorb it and know, and then help somebody else, maybe teach somebody else. And which brings me to why I'm doing this video, because I just feel like I want to share things that I've learned over the past, couple of years since last time I've done a video for Sinner and Friends, and so I'm just gonna put this under Sinner and Friends, of course, and I have a lot to share, and forget it, I'm not making outlines, because I'm just gonna speak honestly from my heart, and just try to explain to you the things that I've learned over the past couple of years. It's really important, and I've written a lot of it. Eventually maybe I'll try to, get it published someday, and I don't want any money from it, of course. It's just what God wanted me to write. It's all from God, and I think a lot is from the Bible, but it's like, things that kind of fits in between the lines. Like, Eve took that, she was deceived and ate that wisdom. Satan tempted her, and she believed Satan, but it was a sin, yes, but it was a necessary sin. Like, God had this plan because it had to happen. It had to happen so we could understand love, and the power of love, and the power of love that God has for us is just, it's overwhelming. You can't, every time I think about it, it's like I can almost feel my soul, and it's so powerful. And I want to share things that I've learned, and hopefully it can help somebody else too, help somebody understand, better. Maybe you're going through some rough times, and I'll talk about some of the rough times that I've been through in my life, and how much it's taught me, how much I'm blessed to have gone through some really hard times. And I'm so thankful for those awful times. I'm so thankful because I brought something out of it. I'm looking at it now from a different perspective, and I see how I can help other people now. That it was a blessing. I was able to help. I'm able to help people that I never would have been able to help before. And that's what I want to do. That's what I'm here on this earth for, is to help anybody that I can, because that's what my heart wants to do. That's what I always wanted to do. I feel so blessed when I'm able to help somebody else. I'm so thankful that some people ask me for help, because it makes me feel like I'm worthy for a minute. So until next time, which hopefully will be pretty soon, I'll post another video here soon. Yeah, leave comments if you want. Be happy to answer any questions anybody has. Actually, if you have a question, it'll help me do the next video. Geez, because I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. There's too much. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.